Ever since we've opened up the airsoft arena, I've noticed a common thread amongst airsofters that they love to customize their airsoft guns. It seems very rare that you see anybody up there with a bone stock M4 or just a plain old M16. They've always got some kind of major modification to the gun to make their own personal statement, which is fine because it's nice to have something that's all your own, but it gets a lot of people into trouble because those modifications aren't always 100% compatible with the gun that they're using. So in a lot of cases, they waste a lot of time and money buying parts that just don't work with their gun. In other cases, the guys just are not qualified gunsmiths and they end up just messing up their guns, and it just causes a lot of problems. So one thing I've been recommending a lot lately, if you've been watching this channel, is that if you're shopping for an M4 or just any airsoft gun for that matter, to get a gun that is as close to what you want out of the box without having to be modified. To that end, the gun that we're going to be talking about today is the Apex R5 series, because this is about as far as you can get from a bone stock M4 right out of the box. I first started hearing about the Apex product line about a year ago. I've been seeing videos here and there on YouTube, and so far all of the information that I've been getting on these guns has been very positive. So when the distributors of the Apex line called us to see if we wanted to try carrying it, I figured it'd be a good opportunity to try some of these guns out. My initial impression after unboxing the gun is that this is a very solidly made airsoft gun. It's made of full metal and weighs in at around 6.5 pounds, so it's about a pound shy of an actual M4. Overall, the construction of the gun seems very solid. There's not a lot of flex or rattle when you move the gun around, and just my general impression of the gun is that it's very well thought out and very well constructed. The next thing that occurs to me when I'm looking at this gun is that this is definitely not a stock M4. So for you guys that are out there that like the look of a modified M4, you're going to love the R5 series. First of all, the upper and lower receiver are a slightly modified version of what you would expect from a standard M4. They're about the same size and shape, they're just a lot beefier than what you would expect on your standard government issue carbine. It has really deep knurling at the front of the lower receiver, which is a great spot to give you a good positive grip for you guys that like to grab it at the mag well. The gun has full ambidextrous controls as far as the fire control switches on both sides. It also has the mag release on both sides of the gun, and it also has the bolt catch on both sides of the gun. Now, for you guys that are used to using regular airsoft guns, normally you cock it back and it locks the bolt in the rearward position. This gun's a little bit different. This is more like an actual M4, where if you want to lock the bolt into its rearward position, you basically have to put your finger on the back of the bolt catch while you pull the handle, cock it into its rearward position, and then lock it into place like that. Then you can just simply release the bolt catch by pressing either side of the bolt catch release. Now, this really doesn't do anything. It's more of an aesthetic thing, but for you guys that like the little added bit of realism, it's a nice touch. To change your hop-up settings, you basically lock the bolt in the rearward position, which gives you access to the hop-up unit in the front of the receiver here. Now, this is a G36 style, or I've actually seen a few SCARs that have the same kind of hop-up unit. It's full metal, and I can't really say that it gives you any kind of particular advantage, but it is definitely different from your standard hop-up unit. The front handguard on the gun is definitely a very customized look for any M4. So for you guys that are looking for that wow factor where everybody's going to be like, wow, check that out, what is that? You're definitely going to get that with this kind of gun. It's very unusual in that it's a quad rail, but the lower 3 rails are located only at the front of the gun. There are additional mounting holes and bolts that are on there, so I imagine if you wanted to add additional rails for accessories, you could easily bolt it to this rail system. The barrel is a free float design that only attaches to the gun at the receiver, so the rest of the barrel is just floating inside of the handguard. The handguard covers probably 90% of the barrel, so it's fairly well protected by the front rail system. The sights are a flip-up design, which allows you to keep the sights on there if you're using optics and just flip them out of the way. It also has the dual aperture rear for both daytime and low light shooting. The gearbox is a full metal design, which is pretty much the standard gearbox that Apex uses on all of their models. It just has the blowback feature disabled on the R5 series, which I particularly like because it doesn't beat itself to death. I don't like electric blowbacks. A lot of you guys that have watched the channel know this because they're just basically a built-in self-destruct mechanism that beats the crap out of the gearbox until it eventually self-destructs. So these guns do not have the blowback, and I like that about this gun. The other feature I like about this gearbox is that it has a disconnect for the spring, so you can take the spring out without having to completely disassemble your gearbox. I don't want to call it a quick disconnect because you still have to disassemble a lot of the gun to get to that feature, but at least you don't have to completely disassemble your gearbox to change your spring to get a different velocity for this gun. The other features on this gun are the adjustable rear crane stock, which gives you your battery compartment in the rear of the stock. You just simply remove the butt pad and gives you access to the battery compartment. And it also has the dual-sided single point sling mount for you guys that like to use the single points, which is pretty much the most popular way of carrying a gun these days. This gun is available in either the standard black or bronze finishes, which this one is obviously the bronze, and honestly I'm not really sure what I think about the bronze personally. I mean, it's a little bit over the top, but it's not like a total shiny gold thing where it looks like some kind of pimp's gun, but it's subdued enough that I think it has a nice tactical look to it. You decide, but if you want to have it in a standard look, you can get it either way in the bronze or the black. As far as the overall performance of the gun goes, it's pretty much in line with what you would expect with any high-end airsoft gun. The nice thing about this gun is that you can vary that performance by changing certain aspects of the gun. So if you want a higher rate of fire, you can drop a LiPo battery in it. If you want to get a higher velocity, you can drop a bigger spring in it. So you can modify this gun fairly easily to get exactly the performance you need, whether you're shooting outdoors or in an indoor arena. This gun is available on our website at replayairsoft.com. We're selling it for what they call the MAP, or the minimum asking price. Basically, the manufacturer says this is the least that you can sell it for, and that's it. So there's not a lot of people that can go out there and undercut the prices. You can get this gun at a lot of other websites, and you're welcome to buy it from whoever you like. The advantage of buying it from us is that if you have any questions about the gun, if you have any issues about the mechanics of it or need it serviced, we will get to you as quickly as possible. There's a lot of other places where you might be waiting 2-3 weeks, even a month to get your gun back. We get it back to you as quickly as possible, and we take pride in making sure that our customers are satisfied with their purchases. So think about that when you're thinking about what gun you want to buy next. So give it a look. Go to replayairsoft.com. If you got any questions, you can hit us on our Facebook, and we'll be glad to answer any of your questions. And until the next time, don't let the bastards get you down.